always, I hope it gets better for you. So, welcome to another live stream. Figured I'd go live after Hurricane Milton because I know a lot of people will be worried and wondering and wanted to check in, let you guys know that I'm okay, fish are okay. As you can see, we still got the power on. I'm in the fish barn. So that's always a good sign after a hurricane, especially as of lately when we've had so many, and it doesn't usually turn out that way. The storm did stay a little more south, so we got a little more of the northern part of it, which wasn't as strong. Heart and prayers go out to everybody down south of Florida with all those tornadoes just ripping around and tearing things up that were really sporadic, and everybody off of the coast, especially down there in um, Tampa and St. Pete. St. Pete really got it bad the last couple hurricanes. Aquarium Fantasy says has no power, and you're on the other side. You're on the East Coast, so you got no power over there on the East Coast. That sucks. Sorry to hear that, man. Never any fun when the power goes out. Our biggest thing with the power goes out is just having water to use. It's kind of hard to do anything, especially with me. I'm OCD about washing my hands and just I use water for all sorts of stuff. I'm a very water elemental person. Very human to be that way, anyway. But I figured what we'll do too, since I'm updating you guys with the hurricane, and there's not a whole lot to say about that more than what the news already shows you. And I know a lot of you guys like fish stuff, so I figured I got to make a couple of these because I'm working on some breeding projects. And these are the breeder baskets. I know some of you guys have asked me about them. Now, they do make planter breeder baskets, which I didn't even think about before I got on here. Luckily, I got my mic so I can walk away and grab one for you guys real quick, show you what I'm talking about. Because these work well too if you don't want to go through the hassle of building your breeder basket like that. Is these are like the planter baskets that you could get for ponds. You just make sure you got mesh on the bottom, and then you can just tie up your foam and floats from there. The only thing with these is they're pretty shallow, so you can see the difference, depth difference. And when it comes to breeding, some fish don't mind, some fish would rather have the depth. You'd be surprised how many actually like these shallow ones, like Danios, some other tetras that like to, some rasboras like to breed up on the shoreline, those creek kind of fish. But that's the easier way to do it if you don't want to do what all I'm doing here. If you guys got questions, I'll be looking at the chat too, just hanging out with you guys. But glad to see y'all in the chat. Thank you, and all you guys wishing us well and looking out for us and praying for us and all that stuff. Appreciate it. Thank God. I gotta thank God that our house has made it through all these hurricanes. When we got our property, it was kind of funny because we liked the area because it didn't have a lot of hurricane issues. But I guess what we overlooked was the fact that it didn't have a lot of issues. It was about overdue. UK Skateboarding says, "Hey man, just a big thank you for helping to keep me and my daughter sane in 2020, 21. Your live videos were important to us. Haven't been here in a while. Happy to see you are still going." Well, thank you, UK Skateboarding. I really appreciate that. It means a lot for me to hear stories like that that help keep me motivated to do what I do. And happy to see you around here coming in and saying that. Thank you. I tried skateboarding at some point in my life. It all worked out pretty good. I mean, I was doing a bit. It's a wild sport. That's a wild sport. You think boxing's tough? Skateboarding's probably a lot tougher because like the hits you take on pavement, it's crazy. about broke my wrist a couple times, and since I work construction, I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing this so much. Well, hello, everybody in the chat. Michael Kidd says, very important to point out that some baskets similar to that one have diamond-shaped holes to let the fish can become trapped in. So yeah, I guess you want to be mindful of the holes and do your due diligence when searching up which kind of baskets you're going to use, because some of them you may even end up buying them and they not even have a open bottom to where it's just solid, and you end up buying something that just had the sides. Michael Kidd says the type that Lowe's sells that look identical to your basket or CBD size fish death traps. Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard that. I always go with like a square, more mesh square. This is what the other planter was too. If you want, here, I'll go ahead and get the brand. There's probably the brand name on it. That would help you guys out. Because I don't think about that stuff because I don't come across it if I'm not having to bother with it. Finofil. Finofil. Trademark. Finofil. Guess I'll give you guys a visual. Brand name. You guys can see it there. Finol or Finofil. Finofil. Those are the baskets with the square ones. Definitely ain't gonna get no fish trapped in there. Perfect size for letting those eggs drop through. That's what I use my CPD basket out with. Although my CPD basket's so overgrown that eggs probably don't hardly even get through it. Once again, glad to see you all coming in here. That's good. Jeff Kane says, so far everyone in Florida that he interacts with on a regular basis in Florida is doing good. It's always good to hear. All right, so with this, I buy online since I don't really have hobby stores close to me, and it's kind of a hard thing to go to the store and just get. But if you do have hobby stores near you, you can buy these. These are yarn fabric mesh canvases. And this is what I use to build them. And this doesn't require any like cutting of the thing. There's a brand artistic plastic canvas rectangle. So it's the 7 mesh. Doris 7 is also a brand that makes these. Smells more plasticky than normal. But I do wash them after the end. Always make sure I wash them. So I don't actually cut these. I get maybe 4 of these. No, 5 of these. Let me peel all these stickers off here. We'll get this party started on this. As you can see, if you go to the store, I think they're like $1 a piece. I think I paid a little more than that because I had got them off eBay or Amazon. There's probably somebody just trying to make 50 cents off each one, which still is pretty affordable. So now I've got my 5. Boom, 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 boom. That's what we're going to use. More water for the well? Yeah, for sure. Let's see in here. Ulster says, oh, nice. I need to make and buy a basket for chili rasbora method you suggested. Yeah. So this is perfect for any of you guys who want to do like that little project with breeding fish. Just get a bigger tank or bigger tub. These are actually going to be for 110-gallon tubs. Might have to drop you guys down a little bit. Let me drop you guys down. Better visual. I'm going to have to build all this out of my lap. I was going to do it with, I don't think I can go any lower than that. I was going to do it with a table. That's just not, I don't know. I didn't really have a table to set up. So my lap's going to have to work. Neo Veritas 7 says, set up an outdoor 90-gallon. What plants would thrive year-round in New Orleans climate? Almost the same as Old Town. Um, Balasinaria, some crypts, like the bronze Winti crypt I know would do good. So first off, I start right here at the corner, the first two, just get that started. So I've got these laid up on each other. You want to make sure they're lined up. What else is there? A lot of your Valacinarias. Um, the Sagittaria would do all right. You probably get some Luigias to work too, some Hygrophilias. Then I actually go every 5 on this. So I get that one started, and then I'll just start hitting every 5, which usually, as if anything that I'm working in high repetition, I'll kind of prep it in each stage. So now I got those started, this one tied in. It's not going to get loose everywhere. And I will just do push through on them all. Then I'll go back and tie them up. You can see it's a bit repetitive. Fish Tank Barn, my goodness, buddy, thank you so much for that awesome support and super chat. Oh, dang it. Come on, finger. There we go. It says, thanks for coming to let me do your fish room tour. Glad you made it through Milton. Well, thank you, Fish Tank Barn. And thank you for putting that tour together. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to a tour of my fish room for a long, long time. And now you have one out there, which is awesome. I haven't done it myself like I should, just because there's been so many other things taking me away from putting that together. And plus, knowing that like you had a fish room tour, I didn't want to step on your toes of it. But if everybody in here, if you haven't seen Fish Tank Barnes channel and the tour video, I've got a link in the community tab on my homepage that actually takes you right to that video. I'm sure if you just typed in LRB Fish Room Tour too, it might be the first one that actually comes up now. But it's a different one. It goes through my whole fish tank barn. Or, yeah, my whole barn. Which is weird now, fish tank barn, because I ended up with a fish tank house. And you've always been the fish tank barn. Now I got myself a barn. Which I like having it more in the barn instead of just my house being consumed with fish tanks, which was cool, like at the beginning, because I had never done it before. But at the same time, when you get that life and work separation, it's a lot easier on the soul than feeling like you're constantly at your work. Because a lot of people, like, I live pretty good, I got a great life, but like this is a constant job and a constant work. Like these fish are just like my babies, they got to be taken care of too, as well as my family, everything else. And there's always something to it. That's why we were talking about having hurricane funds um, ready and set aside. That's the thing with having a fish room, is there's always money that you want projects for. I guess if I manage my money better too and actually just kept that money to a side. But there's always that fish or that tank or the tank sales going on or something else you want to need to get, like new pumps or whatever, stuff for fish breeding baskets. All adds up. But now you can see, after I got everyone poked through, I'm just going to go through and tie them up. All right, let me pop you guys up for a little bit because I'll just be tedious. And it helps I have questions too, because You guys are asking me questions, and you can just answer those while I do this. Aquarium Fantasy says, "How are your fish outside?" All the fish outside are doing good. They're actually starting to pop up more because the weather's been a little cooler, not as hot, so they don't have to like hunker down to where all the cooler water is. And so I've been seeing them a little more. They're out there breeding. I've been putting in well water into the tubs as well. Although they've been getting a lot of rainwater, that rainwater is like real acidic. So I put the well water in there to add hardness because I know I got hardness in my well water. At least add some mineralization because Florida's all limestone. It's one good thing about having harder water when it comes to those tubs. Because having like guppies, especially, they really like some harder water. They like some GH and KH. So I've been trying to do that for some of the fish out there. All right, boom, done. That is one side. Then I'll just do the next side just like that. I'll eventually go through here and cut all these ends off too. Let's see. So going through building a breeder basket, I'll run through this and we'll hit up the sides to it. And I know a lot of people can't make it to my Friday night live Q&A. Why I've decided to do more of these live streams and just make an opportunity out of it, because often I would just sit in my chair and try to do this at my own leisure or as quickly as I could, and not even paying any more mind to like maybe you guys want to hang out. But now you guys can help keep me company, which I appreciate y'all helping keep me company while I do this. Elser says, "Do you think laying them out inside a box would work and using silicone? Silicone these together, I wouldn't trust it at all, especially with the sun. Luckily, these are going to be inside. Oh, and the zip ties, I'm using 4-inch cable ties for these and 1,000 pack. That way I just don't run out. And they fit pretty well with getting it through the square, because some of them can be too thick to get through the square." Aquarium Fantasy says, "Lucas, did you ever get the water change pumps to work?" No, I have not yet. I wish. Joel G says, "Hello. Good to see you in here, Joel. Long time no see." Says, "Were you near the hurricane?" The hurricane? Yeah. We were probably, I think, 3 hours north of it, of the eye. So it wasn't too bad here. It was a little windy, a little rainy on this one, but it was nothing like Helene that came right through here, or Idalia. Little Debbie, she wasn't much, thankfully. She was just little Debbie. All right, speed reading here. This may go cross-eyed. Legion Aquatic says, "Hey Lucas, haven't caught a stream in a minute. How have you been?" I've been doing good. Glad to have you back in here. Good to see you around. Has been a while. But messing around with the fish room, doing fish stuff, getting back into that now that the boxing match and stuff is over. Didn't have to focus on that anymore, and because I was really in that to win that, and it was kind of weird because now I feel like I lost my summer. But thankfully, Florida summers are a little longer than most places. But It is getting cooler here at night. Like we're supposed to get into the 50s here next week, which I don't know. I might have to start moving some fish in before like some freak cold spell comes through or something weird. Because you just never know with weather. Now I know at night these are nightly temperatures. They will warm back up in the day, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But my motto is always safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. You guys just coming in? I'm actually working on this breeding basket here. We're putting it together. Let's see. Irby, what do you call the green hole sheet stuff? I think it will be hard to find in Australia for some reason. So it's actually yarn or quilt canvas. So people who are into fabrics and do yarning and stuff, they actually use these canvases for things, and that's what they're usually meant for. Darice, Darice, is a very popular company that makes them. You could probably find them in Australia. Sure, people knit and yarn in Australia. Usually get them in like a Hobby Lobby type of store. I don't know what you call those in Australia though. So just, I would probably type in, if you're actually trying to Google it, I'd type in yarn canvas or quilt canvas or fabric canvas. Fabric canvas would probably be your best bet, maybe. Matt Flash says, what do you think? Manure, mushroom, or other compost as dirt layer under sand cap? I think it's too a bit much. I think that's very highly nutrient rich, which often is too rich for a lot of our substrates. But what do I know? I've never actually tried it, so I couldn't tell you 100%. Makes me wonder what they actually make like ADA soil out of, which I know is probably just more like humic. I know it used to be more like humic stuff and like more clay, but that stuff is like steroids for plants. They probably just put the actual mineralization in it. But with it being bulk formula, it's more of a slower release than like if it's just kind of sanded and laid out where it can just release at its own time. And I know having a sand cap helps slows that down because that essentially does act like that coating. But you also got to be realistic on how often you're going to be getting into that aquarium and messing around with it, because a cap only lasts as long as you don't mess with the moving the plants around a whole lot. Which sometimes it just, if you're careful about it, just moving a plant or two around, it doesn't do much to the cap. But if you like to rescape a lot, which some people do, and it can release a lot of that causing algae or give it more algae to feed off of. And manure is going to be high in ammonias and stuff too. So you'll definitely want it to leach out and grow out as a planted aquarium more than a fish tank. Because I think there's a big difference actually between fish tanks and planted aquariums. Because you're trying to get something um, different out of each one, and there is a balance with them. Especially if you want to have your cake and eat it too, with having your fish and a planted aquarium, and trying to do less maintenance and not have to worry about algae so much. But if you don't mind algae and all that and work and like the maintenance of it, shoot, have at it. There's one thing I did not bring: the trash can. All right. Oh, I gotta cut these sides off here. So I usually just go down all the way down to the square part of it. Viboy says, or Viboy, I don't know. Says, are they you still a fan of tetracolor granules? So I am. Actually, still use the crap out of that stuff. I honestly don't know what else I would use. Somebody asked me the other day in one of the lives, how's the audio too? I'm on this mic with my beard, probably rubbing all over it. I'll move you guys down a little bit. My beard be scratching like a record. Chop chop suey. Kung kung fooey. Alright, got all those cut. Audio isn't bad. Good to hear. See, you're still in here, Fish Tank Barn. Matt Flash says, I'm going to try mushroom compost just for fun. Let me know how it works. What's all in that, or you'll let me know how it works. Yeah, please do. What's all in that, mushroom compost mix? What do you put in that? Isn't that like, bark and stuff? There we go. We got the sides now. Boom, boom. Which we got, these are all going long ways, horizontal. Now for the side, actually matches up just right. Let me put you guys back down here. Whoop. But with the side here, we're actually going to go vertical and tie it up that way. Because, you know, the side matches up with this side. For that, once again, we'll start off in the corner right here at the bottom and tag it into one of these corners and work my way up. And then eventually I'll bring this up, and then I've got to do all the sides. Which is nice with this is the side piece actually hangs up a little more. I'll show you with this one. So you do get kind of like handles to pick it up. See, with these being taller, you do get kind of handles to pick that up, which is nice. So it's going to take me a while to thread through these. You know, that's the thing. I mean, when it comes to, for instance, keeping fish, breeding fish, something like this it can be time consuming. But the good thing about this is usually once you have them, you have them. The only downfall with it is if you keep them outside for like a few years and the sun really eats at them, they can't actually break them apart. That's a big reason why I'm actually building some now, is because my older ones were actually tore up from the sun. The sun had broke the plastic down of the canvas. So yeah, you'll have that. I don't know if I'll actually finish this all here live too. I don't know. We'll see how the live actually goes. But there is different colors you can make these in. I've got the black styrofoam, which this is actually plumbing piping insulation. For my green ones, I use the styrofoam for pool noodles. But here's the black. I'm going to actually do a test to see if I have more luck with the green ones over the black ones. So my tubs that I'll be putting them in, they're actually black. So they can kind of camouflage with it. And well, nature is green, so that's definitely its own camouflage. We'll see which one works better over time. Barley for the mushroom. Yeah, you got barley in there too. Look, it's blue. Let's see. Scrolling, power scrolling. And if I miss you guys' questions, sorry, I'm kind of scrolling where I can here. Aquarium Fantasy, did your big ponds overflow? So they did not. Luckily, I actually tested them by like the other day, as I mentioned. I was doing today as well, was topping off my outdoor tubs. I had started that like project because they can be time consuming to top them all off because there's so many and it's a lot of gallons. That I noticed before the hurricane that some of the filters were starting to get clogged up, so I did go through and kind of clean them out. That way I didn't have any issue with it during the hurricane. And luckily, most fish, if they're smart, will hunker down during a storm, and that makes it less likely for them to overflow out. So none of my tubs or anything were at the top, just like holding water. All right. I don't know. You guys like hanging out with me while I do this stuff? Feel like it's a two bird, one stone kind of thing. And it makes it more enjoyable. Like I could either just like listen to music, which I normally do while I do something like this. Because there's hardly any videos that I don't know. There's not a whole lot of videos that I watch unless I'm just like scrolling through TikTok or something. Anyway, I feel like all those esoteric and other types of information, even regular science and just things to learn about. I don't know. I feel like I've run through the gauntlet of a lot of that stuff. So there's not a whole lot that actually attracts me anymore. So I guess I spend my time doing what I really should be doing instead of watching. No, I will TikTok like a mug. I don't know. YouTube changed a lot for me, and I think for a lot of people because they did start chasing the money as far as the company, which they always have because I mean they kind of have to due to just it being a business. You got to have higher profits. I don't know why I'm rambling on about all that stuff. I'll just keep. I need to end that there. Anna Banana says I got a few tanks that used to hold rodents and a snake. All hold water, but I am planning on resealing. I disinfected with bleach. Any risk of putting fish in them? Honestly, I would have just washed them out, made sure that they weren't just built for terrariums because sometimes aquariums are just built for terrariums. That's the only main thing you'd have to watch out. And hopefully they weren't like throwing anything weird in that reptile tank that would be like bleach or anything. Which I know you already bleached it with. God bless your heart, you wanted to get it clean. But frogs, lizards, all that stuff happens in nature. They get into my tanks. Matter of fact, I just evicted a frog, little frog that was I caught on one of my aquariums back there today. And anything that those lizards and snakes have been living in, even if they pooped and peed all over it, you can wash all that out. If not, the thing about aquariums, especially the less sterile you keep them, the more they have beneficial bacterias and things to absorb and take out and eat off of whatever may even be that snake poop or rodent poop. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of using bleach in tanks or even having it near anything of mine, any chemicals really. Okay, so now I've got the side part. See, boom, myself some flaps, getting flappy. But what I'm gonna do is right at the corner here, as always, starting off to that second one. That way you keep that corner tight. You don't want a lot of gap in that corner. But you do want to keep that one because it kind of keeps these from running into each other. That would be the keep them separated. Now I'll just work myself Went through the other way. Al Lee says, "Hi Lucas, I'm wondering if you have any Melanitania goldii decai." So actually, I do. I have 3 tanks of them, or 3 little groups, and I need to move them into the fish room because they're all still in quarantine and been in there for a long time. I just haven't dealt with them, but they're actually going to get one of these 75s that I got that I've been putting up, which you guys will see in a video coming soon. Kind of funny because I probably would have edited that video if I had to run from the hurricane, maybe. But I didn't have to run away from the hurricane. Which, that in itself, that uncertainty of, oh, am I going to be home, or if I'm not going to be home, what I'm going to do with my time, it kind of leaves you on the edge. So I have been spending my time trying to do more of the little stuff in between, like this, that actually really need to get done before time runs out too. Especially now that I found out I had these rare tetras that weren't as rare. I mean, they were still kind of rare, but not as rare as they are now. Kind of like that Melanitania goldii decai, where you just can't even find them. Good luck even finding them. But yeah, I need to get those breeding because they are one of my all-time favorite rainbow fish. And I've always been a big rainbow fish fan, but I might be steering away from them more here in the future. There'll be just a select few types that I actually keep. Just for the simple fact that they do like to jump. And usually if they do jump, they'll end up in a different tank of mine. But trying to make a custom lid for their tanks with all their tanks, I don't know. It would be a real pain in the butt. So until I do that, I don't want to get too crazy with rainbows. Although I got them all over my fish room. But if they jump into a tank next to them with the other fish, I mean, sometimes it could really mess up things because sometimes those females can be hard to distinguish who's who, and you don't want to hybridize or send out hybridized fish. Big no no in the hobby. Shrimp P. I like that. Says, did the fish act funny before the hurricane? Not really. They're fairly normal. They act funny all the time anyway. My opinion. No, they go about their business. They're always hungry when I come around. They definitely socialize more, especially outside though, because they're more compact down to the lower waters together. Gets them a bit frisky, so it is good for that. But the fish, they totally don't really mind the hurricane at all. They don't wind, doesn't bother them one bit because they don't really feel it. In the water, they're like, yes, please. They always want more water. Get a wind turbine to run in the hurricane when the grid dump the bed. I do got a little turbine. I just don't know how to hook all that stuff up. I think it's actually to go to a battery and you could use it, but it doesn't have the one that has an outlet actually doesn't work anymore. I usually just charge it with the power at the house. Don't have to mess with the turbine or the panels. Keep it charged. But I need to get a new one of those. Our biggest thing is just the refrigerator, and then it would be nice to have one of the wells. That's all we really need power for. But besides that, I mean, shoot, I don't know. I guess there's always stuff to do, even if there's no TV or games or phone. I guess phone would have battery. You have charging banks for those. There's always things to do, like building breeder baskets, other fish room activities. Actually, probably the best time to move fish around is when you have no power. And you can go through with a flashlight and get all those stragglers you've been trying to catch for freaking ever. Oh, that's the hardest part with the musical fish method that I use for breeding a lot of fish. Is just there's always that one fish that's a pain in the butt to get out of the tank. Problem with having planet aquariums. But at the same time, the planet aquariums help feed the hobby and my family. So it's kind of like I couldn't just do fish, couldn't just do plants. Actually, I could probably just do plants and just go bonkers with it. But I like all the fish and shrimp, and it all helps um, expand our business and what we do. The food on my table, our projects. Scrolling. Seeing questions. If you guys do have questions, put a question mark behind it. That way I know it's a question. Peplin Creek Aquatic says, we have Goldie-eyed Kai just started spawning cool fish. Do you really, Peplin? You got them Goldie-eyed Kai? I hope you do. Because that would put less pressure on me. Because that's one of them fish, like I spread around all over a few years ago. And then now they're harder than heck. You can't find them anywhere. But one of the most amazing rainbow fishes. The cool thing about them is they get rounded after old age. God, this one's hard. They get rounded after old age and start looking like more like a discus. It's kind of weird. 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Get that one started. But yeah, Peplin, let me know about those because I could always use some more blood to deepen my gene pool, and then vice versa if you want to make a trade off. That would be good for them. Good for us both. And the fish's future. That way people ain't getting a lot of the same old strains. Alright. You keeping any Mala Perudia? I'm not even sure what that is, John. What kind of fish is that? I hear some fish breed right before a storm, says Drake and Tosh. Yeah, definitely. It triggers a lot of breeding. How long does it take platies to breed? I can't remember. I think it's like a month gestation period. But it can take them longer, so no, although it only takes like their gestation period like 30 days. If your fish aren't quite comfortable in their new space, which often even it doesn't matter how comfortable you make it for them, it just takes them time to get used to where they're at to feel comfortable enough to breed. So you can't just say like, "Oh, I just bought these. They should be breeding in 30 days." It doesn't happen like that. Sometimes it does, but not as often. They will take maybe a month or two to get comfortable. Just gotta feed them real good, give them a lot of plants, a lot of hiding space. Floating plants are also really good with them. Neo Veritas says, "Do you need a special license to sell fish online?" No, you don't. Not unless you're actually flipping them from like other dealers. So you can just make your website and go to town. Electric catfish, that's what that is? So not like a electric eel, it's an electric catfish? Where do those come from? I've never even heard of an electric catfish, I don't think. Not that I can remember. So I forget half of what I do learn, like most people. Older you get, the more you learn. Let's see. Almost here. Let's see, 4, 5, 6. All right, if you got questions, I am at the bottom of the chat too. Or if you just want to say something, I may read it, I may not. I still got to get the short out for today. So after I get off this live, I'll probably put that out. Newer small video, 60-second video. Those I do try to keep up with for all the social medias. Which I guess is kind of nice for YouTube because, no, I wouldn't even be messing with the other social medias or even making those 60-second videos, which are kind of nice because there's neat things around this fish room that happen that, may not acquire a whole video to make about it, but 60 seconds is good enough. All right, getting this last side of this side piece we'll put together. I don't know if you guys noticed the plants up top though. You guys notice those? They're getting pretty wild. Actually, I got this one fern that's grown into another tank. It's kind of using the top of the tank as its breeding ground or its substrate because it's nothing but guppy grass. So it's like guppy grass water substrate. Yes, please. And it takes a lot of these zip ties. I'll tell you what. There's probably what 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, about 15 or more per side. So the longer sides are probably at 20. The bottom pieces. Still nobody in the chat or questions. Am I still live? I think I am. It says I am. But hey, if you guys just want to hang out here, chat with each other, or just not say nothing at all, and watch me just zip tie breeder basket. I'm down with that too. Actually got to cut some plumbing because I've been changing some tanks out. It's another project I'm working on today. It's getting this outflow reconnected for these new 75s I put in. Got to re-glue those and cut the old out. Which is a little mission in itself. I kind of been hesitant to do because it's like the only section that I've still got enough like natural flow through my pump water change system that I can do the slowest water changes on some of the tanks with. But I'll have to lose that. As soon as I cut into it, there goes all that natural siphon. But that'll motivate me more to work on these pumps. Towley, he put me on the waiting list too, please and thank you. If I could keep up with list, I would. Best thing to do is just check in every once in a while. And keep in mind, Like, I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you got this fish, oh, breed it, I want it, whatever," and they'll be asking me like the next month or two. And fish take time to breed out. You can't just go buy fish. They breed out and then they instantly grow up. Some fish take quite a bit of time to grow up, especially rainbow fish. So, saying that, I would probably check in within like a few months. And if you do want to check in every month or whatever, asking me, that's fine too. Because if I hadn't started breeding them, you'd at least help motivated me to keep reminded to do it. Because there's a lot of people that and just there's a lot of things that I need to do that a lot of people want me to do, which I guess I'll never be bored though because of that. Oh dang it! All right, this is gonna be kind of a pain at that angle. All right, holy moly! Is that who I think it is? It is who I think it is. Thomas G. Thank you so much, my guy, for that $12.34 super chat. Appreciate that. The number synchronicity says, I'm here for the weaving. Right on, brother. You're the best. You're the best. But glad to see you in here, dude. Hope all's been well for you. I'm trying to weave what I can. Of course, you guys can't see it very well. I guess top of my head is way up there. Knock it down a little bit. And Peppling Creek Aquatics, welcome back to the membership. House of Pisces says, how are the gators? You know what? I'm starting to wonder. I ain't seen them for a while. I have not seen them for a while. I was out there the other night with a flashlight trying to find their eyes, and doesn't mean they're not there. It's just I haven't seen them for a while. Which actually, last time I saw them was probably I think a month and a half ago. Actually, probably less than that. Probably about a month ago. I was running down that path and scared one in. Crawford Weiss says, "Do you have flush cut snips to avoid sharp edges?" You know, that is a smart thing to have. I don't. I'm just using scissors. I wish the edges were more flush. They can be sharp, but since they are on the outside, I don't have to worry about them getting to the fish. And I just got to be careful with them myself personally. But good to mention that, yeah, when you cut these, they can be a bit sharp. They have those pointy edges. I do try to cut it flush as much as I can, which still will get pokey. 3, 4, 5. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Knitting needle and water resistant string. Quilt thread works really good too. Fishing line, you can get the smaller pound test fishing line. I've done that and used the needle where you just kind of intertwine it. I don't know. The zip tie is pretty easy. It's just about as easy, if not easier, than doing it with the thread and needle. So there's another way to do it if you want. The fishing line actually may last you a bit longer than. Well, no, because it'll be the canvas that breaks down with the sun before these zip ties will. 3, 4, 5. How are my blue glarus? They're doing good. I need to put them together. Aquarium Fantasy says, "How is the family? They're doing good, doing their normal things for the week, working, playing video games, eating, living life, enjoying our presence of our time. Gotta love the fam." John Kalinowski says, "Is it possible to buy a large mixed colonized plant pile? Large mixed colonized plant pile, like a bunch of plants just all together that actually grew together." I mean, I know some places add like a bundles and stuff you can get with all kinds of variety. I personally do not have anything set up like that, just because it's more of a pain for me to grab and deal with. And since I don't have people working for me and doing it for me, I have to manage my time as wisely as I can with what I got, with with the brains I got. So it does become a bit much when I got to grab this, and that, or if I have to make a special listing for just something in particular, because that just takes time. It doesn't sound like it's much, but just trying to put up listings and stuff that can eat up a half hour of your day. And as the old saying goes, there's only so many hours in a day. So I gotta manage them the best I can here. Usually stuff like that. That and like special orders. I often get like certain special orders for things that may not be on the website yet. And as much as I would love to cater to those, it's not always easy to do, and it usually becomes way more of a pain than I ever wanted it to be. Which I'm not a stranger to pain, don't get me wrong. But I also got to think about my fluidity of my business, which in essence is your guys's as well, because you guys get to reap the benefits of it. So luckily, I haven't had to really raise my prices on stuff, thankfully, for the position I am in. But although saying that, staying up with inflation too hasn't been as easy, because that's just more fish I've got to sell, more fish I got to breed, etc., etc. All right. Dave's Fish Room says, "Purchased some plants and a pair of guppies in a few weeks ago. Everything is happy and healthy. Definitely order again. Always miss these lives at work." Well, thank you, Dave, and glad I could do a live where you can join us. So I've kind of been wanting to do more of these lives for the channel, just because I know not everybody can make it to those Friday nights, or even want to spend their Friday nights listening to me ramble on about aquariums. Flush cuts don't work as well as a Stanley blade. Yeah, those work good too, but also that risk. As long as you're smart with them, don't cut yourself. Dean Stevenson said, "Did my comment get deleted?" I don't think so, because I don't even think we got mods in here. I sure in the heck didn't do it. At least not on purpose. Let's see it. What was it about? It says, "So I missed the update, but I guess y'all came through everything okay, so that's good." Yes, yes. We've got power here in the fish room. No real damage. Worked out pretty good. Good to see you in here. Tally says, do the pond baskets work as good as the baskets you're making right now? Use automatic egg catcher for my CPDs and I get a lot of fry from it, but it requires an air pump. Yeah, those automatic egg catchers, I want some of those. I need some of those in my life, but I've never taken the time to actually make them. So I don't know if there's anywhere you can actually buy them. I haven't really looked into the market anywhere, but I do want some. But these, in my opinion, work better than the other ones because they are deeper. Although fish like CPDs in nature live in more shallow water, so this is kind of on the deep end for a CPD. Same with Danios. They like the shallow water more preferably. But for like tetras, I think this will work better. Barbs, this would probably work better. Orange hatchet Daniel fish, maybe this would work better. Because they actually breed different than most other Danios. They do this little dance where they flare upwards. And they kind of like that water. Flare upwards. Pencil fish? I don't know. I do probably need to watch more fish breeding videos. Another reason why I don't watch a whole lot of other fish breeding videos anymore is the fact that it just reminds me of all the stuff I really need to do and catch up on, or will want to do, but I've already got so much will and want. I've got to be mindful of organizing and balancing all those wills and wants. Then it might be easier to melt the edges together instead of sewing or zip ties. I don't know. What would you use to melt them together? Like a old waffle iron, old flat iron. What would you melt them together with? Maybe I am doing it the hard way. But I actually like. You ever smelled burning plastic? Not a fan. Not a fan. Yes, an iron covered with a silicone baking sheet. Oh, interesting. Have you tried it before? Overlap iron. Well, what do I know? Why am I even here? 3, 4, 5. So I'll show you guys the hard way to do this. In case you guys want a challenge instead of just ironing them, getting all smart about it. Just a dinosaur. What's that Hank Williams song? Hank Williams Jr. Any of you guys even know that song? Okay, that's not lining up right. Something went awry. You guys got me all befuddled trying to do this the hard way. Okay, let's see. 3, 4, 5. 6. 3, 4, 6. I caught up to where I was. Yeah, but only for selling comics in a bag. Yeah, that cellophane's a little different than like this kind of harder plastic. But there's probably a way you could do it. Probably. I don't know. Doing the corners might be a little tough. Because, like, getting the pieces together and then, I don't know, trying to flex them apart. Now that I'm looking at the actual design of it, might be kind of tricky. Get it to like line up and really be able to heat it up together. I do got a heat gun, but shoot, I'd probably burn myself trying to get it right. Gosman says, "Welcome to LRB Elementary School Crafts." Right? Thank you for joining us today. 3, 4, 5, 6. Jupiter One says, "Lucas, do you have any bluegrass guppies?" So I do have some. I don't have a whole lot of them, but I have some. And the line kind of goes back and forth between the red, and blue. So my guess is that they kind of pull them by best blues and then the best reds. So you kind of get a little bit of both. I totally just put a cut piece in there. This one doesn't even have the square. See it? Oop, not gonna work. That's just telling jokes. Jokes are always good, especially dad jokes. And say I'm my favorite comedian. Well, I haven't said that for a while. I've been behaving myself. Usually, it's not the nicest joke. Um, Thomas G. He knows the Hank. Oh, that's nice. Jupiter One says, "How do I get a trio from you?" Ooh, luck. Let's say luck. Good question right now. I don't know. I need to get more organized too. Like after I get caught up with some of the stuff I've been doing, especially like bringing all these fish in for when it gets colder, and I'll get more organized into what I have available and what I'm willing to let go. Because I want to back up my backups on certain things, and those bluegrass are one line that I like to back up my backup. Although they're not like the purest line, which to even think that they were going to be a pure line was, really wishing. Because most guppies, they gear off of other genetics and mutations. And some mutations are stronger than others when it comes to colorations and morphs. But it's still a really solid line to the point that I believe in keeping it. Which I don't do that often with guppies. Usually I'll be like, I ain't even messing with it. It ain't as pure as I can get it. But I'll put some work towards it. This takes time, sometimes years. Everybody got spoiled with the old fish room because everything was old, matured, and grown out for years. Which now a lot of this is because no matter how busy I am in my life, like these tanks and environments, they don't stop. They just keep going, whether I'm really doing much with them or not. Just how much I get out of like the fish and stuff by moving them around. That's one of the biggest. 3, 4, 5. Dog resistant window screen can make cone or attach to float. I do and have seen that stuff. It's more flimsier. It's not as rigid. Might last you in the sun better though. It would be softer. That, and you could actually customize it to different sizes. So you would definitely have to cut and measure more stuff. But this, I like this because I don't really have to measure or cut anything besides like these zip ties, which I got to cut. Which that's not really nothing. These canvas sheets, they just kind of line up, make it easy. Dean Stevenson says, was thinking of ordering some pink grass guppies. I saw on Aquabid, but a friend told me they don't really look like the picture. Is that a common thing? So yeah, the pink grass guppy is probably what's in between the red and the blue grass. So it's kind of got a little bit of both. Which how true pink they are, I don't think they would really be very true pink. I've never really seen much pink kind of really come out of those. Of anybody's line that I've seen. The only real guppy that does get some pink to them normally is the Bingu guppy. Because pink is actually really rare in guppies and fish. Yeah, not have to measure, easy. For sure. 3, 4. It's starting to get nice out here though. Fall in Florida is one of my favorite seasons. Which, normally up north I would just be dreading. Like fall's alright, I enjoyed it up there, but I knew what was coming after fall. Here I don't spread it so much. No, it was a hotter than normal summer. Still wasn't bad. I even did all that boxing training in all this real hot summer. Going to the gym on 100-degree days, working out for 2 hours. That's the best kind of weather to work in, really. Get your sweat on, get that detox going. Especially for somebody my age that hasn't always treated his body the best with what he's eating and drinking through his life. I used to be a bit of a wild child. Then wasn't really always mindful of what I was eating. Shoot, when I lived by myself, I was eating out like every day. I didn't cook nothing. Still don't. Although I could cook if I wanted to cook, probably be real good at it. I don't have much desire for it. I always wondered if MI to plastics make their way into tanks from plastic filters people use. That mother is spinning in plastic, not good. Keep it natural. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of microplastics, I'm sure, that get into our aquariums through these products. Most of the time, they're sealed and pretty well, as far as they don't have like the debris of plastics and stuff. And why I always wash anything I use. But if these are like breaking down through the sun and everything, it's getting in there. Maybe a little bit. Probably not a whole lot. Supposedly there is bacteria and stuff that can eat and break down plastics. Nature has its way. It just may take forever. Or may take never. Oh, we're almost there, you guys. Can't believe I about built this whole thing. How long did it take me? Oh, God. Good thing I don't get paid by the hour. Because this thing can get expensive. Voila! So we got our basket. We zip tied all the zip ties. There's probably what, 15, 30, 60, 90, probably around 130 zip ties. Yes, they are a bit pokey. Now I just got to put the floats on it. House of Pisces says, was that short with waves holiday hurricane? No, so that was the short that I did. The last one with the hurricane waves was the one in Daytona, and that was Hurricane Helene. So that was the hurricane right before Milton, which was like a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, if that. It was like a week and a half ago. But that's what it looked like on the other side of Florida with the ocean. And I tell you what, it was the most magnificent view. I actually wanted to do like a relaxing ambient ASMR kind of live stream that just showed all that night, because it was a wild vibe. It was just an interesting scene to witness. Like the ocean with the mist, the ocean spray, and the waves and everything. It was like a living painting. And then the lighthouse on the other side, if you watch towards the end of the video, you can actually see the lighthouse that was just down the way. It was beautiful. It was wild that it was coming on the back of so much destruction of Helene, but at the same time, it was beautiful. We didn't know if our house was going to still be there or not, but at the same time, it was still so beautiful. So I wanted to at least share that short with you guys. I know it's not so much fish related, but it is aquatic. It does say LRB aquatic, so got water in there. I should be able to get away with it. Ooh, sounds like I got a visitor. I don't get those often here. Use dog screen for my outdoor tanks covers. Yeah, a lot of those work really good. Says UV bird and animal resistant 4x8 for $25. That's not a bad price. What's up, my dude? Glad to see you in here. How are you?
Good.
That's good. What's you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, thought you'd come say hi.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, if you guys didn't know, this is Wesley. He's my son. He's my main man. He's what I do a lot of this for. You know, he doesn't get into it much. But you do got tanks, don't you?
Yep.
What do you got?
Goldfish and axolotls.
Nice.
That's basically it.
Basically it. You know, that's still quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you think you'll ever get into aquariums like your dad?
Not really.
Not really. Why not?
I don't know.
You don't know? Just ain't really thought about it much? Or have you thought about it?
Huh?
Have you thought about it?
Not really.
Not really. You got your whole life though for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy! Let's see Jimmy in here. He was supposed to be here the other week with when Helene come through, which I really should have had him still come. I just wasn't sure if we were gonna have power or not, so it would have been weird to have him over here and not have any power in the tanks. Would have been a hard tour for him to make. Although being Jimmy, I'm sure he could manage. But we did end up getting our power back like that day we did have planned, and it was really cool looking with a lot of the debris and what's been going on outside. Which you guys will actually see a bunch of shorts of that coming up. But supposedly he's going to be coming back, so I'll be excited for that and just to hang out with him because really good, solid dude, and love spending time with him. All right, so now we got the float on, which actually I had to take 3 of these zip ties, put them together. Now you may say, why don't you just get a longer zip tie? The longer zip ties often come thicker, so it's harder to get them through the squares there. So those are the 4-inch zip ties once again. And then this is just a pool noodle. Jimmy Gimbel said he will when he's 40. Yeah, probably, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows if he ever starts up his own YouTube channel? His channel might be bigger than mine. If he started his, you're fine. Thanks, bud. But
do your viewers know about the broken fish tank?
broken fish tank, the one outside?
Yeah.
Not the newest one. Actually, I think they might. The one the cattails went through.
No, not the cat.
Oh, the one with the big tree branch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know about it?
They do. They know about that one. That one's all busted up. Some of them may. But Wesley could probably start a gaming channel and be a lot bigger than I am. Yeah. That's why hopefully here in the future we can get a more solid, like, starting to plant stuff. Or that big plant out there? Yeah, I didn't plant that. That's let me flip you guys over what he's talking about. Yeah, no, that's actually natural. That just come up like a weed. So I decided to keep it for shade and stuff. Yeah, it kind of grew up out of nowhere. I will just keep trimming it to how I want it. I actually had to trim it out of the path. Yeah, it's okay. It's actually following long ways down the tub, so eventually it'll cover all the tubs maybe, which will be really neat to see. Just take some time. Good to see him out there looking at it stuff. Usually he's not that mindful of them. He's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't try to force it. Can't be like these aquariums. No, we got to get into these. We're all our own people. Boop, boop, boop. You gotta see this kid Friday Night Funk It. If any of you guys know what that is.
They probably don't.
Probably not. I don't know. They may. Some might. That's a little bit bananas. To tell everybody that we're okay from Hurricane Milton, because there's a lot of people that be worrying. And then we decided to build a breeding basket, because that's what I had to do today. It was either go live or build breeding baskets. So I was like, let's go live and build breeding baskets.
Oh. Did you tell them that we weren't even in the cone?
Yeah, I let them know that we're safe, not in the cone, north of it, about 3 hours.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
All right.
There's no power outages at all.
Yeah, I think
except those 2 times.
Yeah, it went glitch city, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Can you guys even hear him very well? Because I do got the microphone on right here instead of over here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can probably still hear me.
Probably. It's not real loud in here with other things like filters.
Yeah.
Had to throw that in there. Because that's my sauce. Although, for you guys using filters, keep using your filters because I don't know. Nothing wrong with them. If you already got them, they definitely don't hurt anything. Really. As long as you don't over clean them and over sterilize. Any aquarium, that's really what it's about. As long as you got the beneficial bacteria to help balance any impurities. That's the real key and trick. But all right, that is done. We got a breeding basket. Two of them now. How much more to go? I don't know. We've been on here for 85 minutes already. Why, you getting hungry? You getting hungry? I am. Pick you guys up here. I'm gonna show you guys where I'm gonna put these. And we'll probably hop off here. Yeah. Three hours. Yeah, well, this one took me about an hour on here, I think. And I don't know. Okay, if the internet goes away and it starts looking bad, I'm sorry, guys. We were in the fish barn. That's what it does. I'll at least show you where I'm gonna be putting these. We'll pop them in this 110. Oh wait, I didn't wash these. I need to rinse these. I about just threw these in. Yeah, I need to rinse these first. Okay. Before I get ahead of myself, I'll rinse these baskets off just for safety sakes, oils and whatnot. All right, I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me, checking up on me, and making sure we did all right throughout the hurricane, and for watching me weave that basket. And if you guys want to breed fish, that's a good way to breed those egg scatterers that don't have sticky eggs. Their eggs will just fall through. Yeah, fish. And Thomas G says, looking forward to the collaboration. Awesome, me too. And can't wait to see Jimmy. But I'm gonna hop off here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, everybody. Peace. Have a great one. Do 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 do. Actually.